Well, welcome to Sunday Night Satsang, and tonight we're going to be looking at a very important subject called peace. Peace. So welcome, and those people who are joining for the first time, please, if you can, just type up the comments box where you're watching from and who you are. We love to know who we're talking to, and we love getting the hearts as well. Thank you for the hearts. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you can please press the like and the share button and the subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our channel. It does help get the information out there. So thank you for that. It's just
thank you. We're all vertical.
We're vertical.
Thank you.
Vertical.
Well, it's good that we're in the vertical plane because that's what we talk about.
That's right. Yeah. You know, in the map of the matrix, we have the horizontal plane, which is time, and the vertical plane of presence, and another word for the vertical plane is the plane of peace. Mm-hmm. So we're in that plane tonight. That's really great. So thank you. Not too sure if Facebook suddenly just decided to change. Change. But anyway, here we are. Right. Who else do we have? We have Sonia. We have Jill. We have
Lauren. Lovely to see you all.
Yeah. Hi. Right, so let's start this satsang the way we always start our satsangs, and that is to center ourselves in the vertical plane. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Vertically, in the vertical plane.
Yeah, that's right. And to withdraw our mind from the day, from the weekend, to withdraw our mind from all other times and all other places, and just become centered in the most precious and most sacred place there is, which is the present moment. So you might like to just settle back a little bit in your chair or your couch, wherever you're sitting or lying if you're on your bed, and just gently, very gently, close your eyes. Just center yourselves inward, just withdrawing your mind from the external world and bringing your awareness to connect directly with what we call life. Life is always and only in the present moment. Life is not in the past, and life is not in the future. So we choose, consciously choose, in this moment, to be here now. To inhabit the body fully. We spoke a moment ago about the horizontal plane of time, of past and future. The vertical plane is presence, and the body is in the vertical plane. The body is always present. It's only the mind that projects itself away from the vertical plane. So by connecting with the body, we connect with the vertical plane. And the vertical plane is where peace is to be found. It's where life is to be found. It's where the very essence of being is to be found. While the horizontal plane reflects the human dimension of story and time, the vertical plane is the being. And we are the human being. So let's connect fully with the body, and one of the ways of connecting with the body is to become aware of the breath. So let's just consciously choose to breathe. And we breathe in. We take a very deep breath in right down to the toes. So we pull the air right the way down the body as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, we surrender the breath back to life. Just surrender. So the out breath is the letting go. The out breath is, the in breath is a bit of doing. So we breathe in with the doing. And we breathe out with a surrendering. Take another deep breath in. And as you breathe in, blow your tummy out like a big ball. So you're breathing in right to the lower diaphragm. And as you breathe out, bring your belly button back to touch your spine. Consciously squeeze the air out of the lungs. And now let us just hand over the breath to life. Let's allow life to breathe us. And the handing over to life is a surrender. We surrender our will to the will of life. And we allow life to take care of the in-breath and the out-breath. And the breath is the most precious thing that we can have to be here now, to have this human experience. We can be without most things for quite some time, but the breath only a minute or two. So let's maintain our awareness on the breath, but let's not try to control it in any way. Just aware of the beautiful in-breath, the filling of the lungs, and that lovely surrendering, letting go as we release. And with every release, we sink down deeper into the body and back into the present moment. It's important to focus on the out-breath, to be aware of the out-breath. So often we only pay attention to the in-breath because it's doing. But in fact, the out-breath leads us into being. And let us focus on that for a moment. Just becoming aware of this beautiful rhythm, this flow of life. And let's just use another faculty, another portal into presence, which is also anchored in the body. And that's the faculty of listening. So just become aware for a moment of anything you can hear. You can hear my voice. We can hear a cricket. What can you hear? What's the furthest, faintest sound you can hear right now? And to truly listen, we have to still the mind. We have to become conscious and aware of the present moment, for listening can only happen in presence. Now become aware of the awareness that's aware of all the sounds you can hear, including our cricket. That awareness that listens, another name for that is being. So when we truly listen, we align with the vertical plane, with being. And if we are truly aligned with being, then we transcend the thinking mind. For if you're thinking, you're not truly listening. To listen is to become receptive to the present moment. And when we are truly, truly receptive and open to everything this present moment is giving us, and we enter fully the vertical plane of being, we find the true essence of who we are. And we discover underneath the stories of the mind and the situations and circumstances of the world around us, we find stillness. And in that stillness we find the peace we seek. Take another very deep breath in. And surrender the breath once more, letting go and sinking into this beautiful place of peace in the present moment. And as we do that, our heart opens and we become a portal of transformation for ourselves, for every cell in our body. and also the world around us. And keeping this awareness of being, of the stillness within, you may gently open your eyes and just see how you feel in this moment. How do you feel right now? A bit more centered, a bit more at peace.
That was lovely, thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody.
Thank
Welcome
you.
Kirijan and Dennis, who joined us.
And the cricket.
Yeah, the cricket. Yeah, the
And we
cricket's
have a loud
giving
cricket.
giving us his song.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about peace tonight.
Well, we've done that already, haven't we? So if everyone got that, we can all relax now. Yeah, so we want to look at the subject of peace because underlying all our goals, all our aspirations, all our seeking, all our searching, lies the ultimate quest for peace. If you're really honest about it, what you really, really, really want can be possibly described as peace, peace of mind. And so tonight we thought we'd just spend a bit of time looking at peace. But before we do that, is what's happening in the heavens? Is there peace in the heavens?
No, not really.
Oh. What's happening in the heavens?
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of air energy, it's a lot of thought, it's a lot of projections into the future, thoughts about the future. It's a kind of quite a future-oriented time.
Time.
There's lots of time, and there's lots
Time.
of it's a little bit blustery actually. So I think that I said in my video that I thought that it was a very good idea to connect with the earth and connect with water, because that kind of settles things. So it's a sort of that kind of energy. It's a sort of electric energy and needs to be settled and grounded. And so when it's electric like that and it's airy, it's very heady. So we get very busy in our minds. So it's just to be aware of it, if that's happening.
What's the planets of time? How do you read time?
The planet of time is Saturn.
Saturn. Okay, that's time. Father time.
Father time.
Father time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Father time.
Yeah, but there's lots of change in there. I think
And the
people
mind
are
is
feeling
Mercury,
it.
isn't it?
Mind is Mercury, yes.
Mercury.
Yeah, and it's in an air
See, I'm
sign.
learning astrology.
You are.
There we are.
So and it's airy at the moment, so
Airy.
there's lots going on. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think peace is a good one to work with tonight.
Yeah. Because quite often it's in times of turmoil, it's in times of challenge that we can go deeper. You know, when things are pretty easy, we then get caught up in the stories and we get pulled along by what I call the matrix of the mind. But when things become uncomfortable, then we say, well, is there not a better way? Is there not a better way? And maybe this time is a good time to be saying, is there not something that I can do or see that's different to how I was in the past?
That is what these times are about, because this is the time of change. It's a paradigm shift. So whatever we've been doing in the past that hasn't necessarily worked very well, this is the time to shift it. It literally is. So we've been saying that for a long time, but it's because it's a long process. But it's daily, minute by minute, that we're shifting from one state to another state, and that we have a choice in every moment to make that choice, to shift, and to, as you just said, do it in a different way. So if we overthink, is there something that we can, how can we change that? If we tend to go hearing off into stories in our minds, which many of us might be inclined to do, what do we do with that? Do we just keep doing that? Because that's just perpetuating more of the same story and the same outcome. So I think this is a very good time to look at thoughts and where they go and how do we actually come back to peace? Because it's all very well to say, just be peaceful, just come back to peace. But how do you do that? I think that's a good thing to look at.
I want to ask you a question. I was reading earlier in a book, and I posted some of that on the Journey site, or paragraph. No, didn't post on Journey. I posted it on one of the groups, and it said about the person carrying the picture in the sky.
The person carrying the picture. The picture.
pitch, the water pitch.
Oh, yes.
That's the age of Aquarius, right?
That's Aquarius. It's the sign of Aquarius.
And
the water bearer.
The water bearer, yeah. So, in this book, it was talking about the end times. It was talking about the apocalypse, and it said at this time that symbol will come back in the sky, and this time is, I believe, an awakening to the power and the potential that we have as the human being. And part of that is the necessity to choose more wisely than we've ever chosen before.
Yeah.
And as I've said many times before, there's a split in the path here, and we have the path of fear, of false evidence appearing real, and we have the path of love. And this is the time to choose, I believe, more wisely, and that would be to choose the path of love consciously.
That's the truth.
Yeah. So we've made many evolutionary steps in the past, but most of them were driven by energies outside of ourselves. But this time we've been given the opportunity to shift consciously. And so right now it's to activate that power of choice within us and to choose moment to moment to moment more wisely than we've ever chosen before. And one of the things that I believe that we could well do to improve our lives and the world around us is to choose from a place of peace rather than a place of seeking, rather than from a place of fear. And that's really the topic for tonight, isn't it? Yeah.
No, because when we're seeking, we can't be at peace because we're resisting the moment.
Yeah. We're looking for something better than now. It's
fine to have visions and it's fine to have goals, but if we're living there, then we're in resistance of what we have now and where we are now. So you can't. It's very difficult to be at peace when you're resisting something. So for me, the one thing that stops us from being at peace is resisting whatever it is that's appearing. It's resisting this moment, it's resisting the government, it's resisting a person, it's resisting a situation, as opposed to accepting whatever it is and moving through it. So you still do what you need to do, but you accept that it is as it is.
And one of the reasons for that is because we overvalue time.
Yeah.
We overvalue time, and we overvalue future, particularly future. Although past is also something that the mind continually regenerates. And we overlook the most important place there is. Our point of power is in the present moment. And we overlook the present moment. And was it last Sunday that we were... Was it last Sunday? Where were we last Sunday?
Yeah, I think.
When we did see Eckhart?
Well, that was last Sunday.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. Time goes so quickly.
Yeah.
So last Sunday we sat for over 2 hours in the presence of the Master of Presence, which is Eckhart Tolle. He was visiting Cape Town, and we were lucky enough to sit in the auditorium with him. And for 2 hours he spoke of nothing else but presence. And thousands of people were kept centered in that energy of now. And it was truly beautiful, and you could feel the peace in that auditorium, couldn't you? That was the biggest thing, just feel the peace. And that only came about. He wasn't teaching us to do anything in our lives, but just holding us in that presence, we automatically felt peace. And from that, there was a resonance going out into the world of peace. And I absolutely guarantee you there would have been a shift in the matrix of time from the amount of energy of conscious humans sitting in that auditorium focused purely on presence. I mean, he's not that entertaining.
Well, he said basically that it depended on if you'd been dragged there by someone, or if you'd come there on your own volition. If you'd been dragged there by someone,
by your partner,
then it was very likely or very possible that you could be excruciatingly bored for 2 hours. And I mean, what I got from that as well was that if you were going to the show, to the thing with Eckhart, with the need to get something out of it, with the projection of what's he going to teach me, what am I going to learn, am I going to shift, then you would have actually been in resistance to his presence, and you wouldn't have actually been able to sink into his presence. So because you would be looking for something else, and if you're looking for something else, then you can't listen to Eckhart.
Yeah,
because he's
right.
not giving you that.
And
He's
it's
not giving you
amazing.
something else.
Yeah, and it's amazing at how the mind resists presence.
Yeah.
And chatting to a few people about their experience. I mean, one person, lovely lady, very good friend of ours, she was saying about how her focus was on how hard the seat was, and how the person next to her was drinking wine.
But
and her mind was like so caught, and she had to bring it back, because even though you're sitting in a beautiful place listening to an absolute master of presence, the mind comes in and resists that, and then goes off into whole stories, and it'll look for excuses why I can't be present. Well, the seat is too hard,
and
she
fidgeting,
recognized that.
And he's strange next door to me, and I don't like this, and what if this happens?
That's the mind.
And it's just got to be, we've got to be aware of that mind.
The mind.
Because it takes us out. As you say, you can be in the presence of a master and still be in
judgmental,
a place of discomfort and suffering, because the mind has taken you clean out of that place and put you somewhere else. You're not even in the room.
Yeah.
There was a woman in front of us that was actually, she was very sort of fidgety and stuff. So I think when he finished, she got up very quickly and left. So there were a couple of people like that, but the majority, just after a while,
well, she was probably dragged along by her partner.
I think she was dragged along by her partner, because he was riveted and she wasn't.
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah,
that's the mind. It's
always
mind.
the mind. But there was so much peace in that auditorium. Generally, it was just amazing, and I mean, at the end, everyone stood up and just gave him a standing ovation. It was just beautiful to see that, just absolutely beautiful. It really was. But the thing that robs us of peace is resistance to the present moment. Yeah. That's really what it is. And as I said earlier, it's overvaluing time. It's overvaluing past and future. Because whatever we value, we pay attention to. And generally we don't pay much attention to the present moment. We pay attention to the stories going on in our head. And the stories are all about time. They're all about yesterday and tomorrow. And extended into infinity in those two directions.
Yeah, that one day when this has happened, then I'll be okay. Then I'll be at peace.
Yeah.
When I've sorted out my cupboards, or I've sorted out my finances, or my husband, or my wife, or my children, or the government,
or the
weather, then I can be at peace.
Yeah.
And there's always something which is stopping us from being at peace, because we're never going to get to it then. So it's just to realize that. And I think these are the times we were able to actually see our patterns of those reactive patterns and those continual loops of thinking. We're able to see them more clearly.
Yeah.
And when you can see them more clearly, you can shift them. If you can't see them clearly, you can't. It's difficult to shift them. So it's like that, where that roller coaster mind comes in. It's to be the awareness of, I'm about to actually go into that story. Now I have a choice, just in this split second, in this moment. Do I go down that story, or do I come back? Because most of the time the story is not going to actually do anything. Because the story is not even true. It's different if you're actually taking an action about something. But if you're going into a story about it, what's it helping? So it's a little bit, I see it almost like a roller coaster. And these are kind of roller coastery times, in a way. So it's a sort of a roller coaster where you get to a certain point, and there's a second's pause just before the roller coaster goes down. And when it's going down, it builds momentum, and then you are way into the story, and you've completely lost the piece. You're into the story. Whereas if you can stop just at the very top and say, oh, I don't have to do this. I don't have to go through the story. That's where you drop in.
Yeah, and that's because we overvalue time.
Yes.
The moment you drop into the story, you're valuing the story more important than the reality of life in this moment, than presence. And one of the things that Eckhart really articulates so well is that there are not many moments. There's not many presences. There's not many nows. There's only one. And it's eternal. It's always here. It's always the present moment. It's always here. While the mind is looking for different situations and circumstances to make it happy, it's a recognition that happiness or peace or joy is only to be found in presence. And it's always the present moment. Situations change, but presence is always here. Presence is the awareness that underlies the changing situations and stories of our life. It's always the present moment. You have never experienced anything, and nor will you ever experience anything that outside of the present moment. If we have a memory, for example, that memory is being remembered from the present moment. If we are strategizing the future, we are doing that from the present moment. And it's because we overlook the reality of now that we suffer. And in the suffering, we step out of the field of the vertical, which is the place of peace. And peace is always, in my mind, more important than any story.
Something also, just on that, that Eckhart mentioned that I've heard before and I've worked with as well, is we often are reaching for a higher state of consciousness, our higher self, something that's here. It's here somewhere, which is fine. But what he was saying was that you can also do the opposite. You can actually say, I'm going deeper into myself. I'm not, because sort of going to the higher self could be fine, but it can actually also be a reaching. It feels a little bit like a reaching, that I've got to do this and this and this to actually get myself up there. It's just a little thing that really resonated with me, that he said, as opposed to my deeper self, which is here. It's, you kind of drop into your deeper self.
Yeah, you drop into presence.
You go beneath the surface of the chaos, the noise, the mind, the turbulence, the stuff that's going on our planet. You actually go deeper into it, beneath it. It's like going into water, where there's this total stillness when you get to a certain point underneath the water. So I just thought that was very useful, because I think very often, even on a spiritual journey, we are seeking and searching for something bigger and higher and brighter, as opposed to just saying, no, it's here, I've got to just drop in to it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So let's use the word peace.
Yeah.
Peace isn't something to be reached for.
No, you can't.
It's not something to be sought. It's to be dropped into. Because peace and presence occupy the same space. So if it is peace we are looking for, don't reach for it. Don't look for it. Don't seek it. Drop into it. And the only place and time that you can drop into it is in the present moment.
And it's an actual, you can almost physically feel yourself as you actually give up resistance in that moment, and as you breathe out, you can actually feel yourself.
Yeah.
It's like an exhale. It's a release, and that's not a lifting feeling. It's a settling feeling. It's a kind of a grounded feeling.
Yeah. And one of the ways of allowing yourself to be here more is to honor the small things that are appearing in your awareness right now. The mind is usually reaching for the big stuff. That's what the mind wants, the great achievements. And yet, peace and fulfillment is to be found in honoring the small things that are in your awareness right now, right here, right now. Find the small things and honor them fully with your attention, with your awareness. For example, in a satsang like this, we have a candle that's lit. And the flame might be small, but in that smallness there is greatness. And the one analogy is rather than flame, is it only takes one small candle to light a whole dark hall. One small candle of light.
Once the light is there, the darkness is there.
And the beauty and the magnificence is in the smallness. So don't reach for the big things. Honor the small things in your life that are appearing right now in front of you. And that will definitely align you with the field of peace.
It's kind of, isn't it? It's actually the reaching for something in whatever way that's actually preventing the peace.
Yeah.
because I'm here, but I'm reaching for there, or I'm here, but I'm trying to get there, and I'm trying to do that. And in the mere fact of trying or reaching, there's a resistance to this.
Yeah.
So there actually can't be peace. There can only be peace when it's like a stepping back.
Yeah.
It's actually a little bit of a stepping back.
The stepping.
And
yeah. It is.
yeah, and there's no. It takes you into that place of no duality. So whether you're not in the judging mind, because as soon as you're in the judging mind, you're on the horizontal and you're going backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
You also can't be in peace. It's impossible, because where are you? You're there or there or there or there or there or there, and that's what the energy is at the moment. Quite clear is that it's giving us, because it's so turbulent and hurly-burly for so many people. It's actually, I said to a client the other day, it feels almost like we're being squeezed through the eye of a needle, because there's so much going on and there's so much energy moves. And never mind whether there's nothing huge going on in your life, there's a lot of energy moving and shifting for all of us. And so the more we actually go off into past or future or up or reaching, the more we suffer, and the more turbulent it is. So if we can actually just bring ourselves back and just move through exactly what's happening in this moment, like the eye of the needle, it becomes very fine. And if you move outside of it, it's okay, it's over there. I've gone off on a tangent. And
Coming back.
As Michael Singer says, you just keep coming back, keep coming back.
Yeah.
And as he said, it's Michael Singer who wrote The Untethered Soul and the Surrender Experiment. He says the practice is coming back.
A spiritual practice.
The spiritual practice is not about something out there. It's about coming back to who you are.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's true.
And if you have to come back to who you are 60,000 times a day, then that's what you do.
Yeah.
That's the practice.
Yeah. And you're talking there about the eye of the needle, which is something small, and going back to what I was saying earlier, it's in the smallness that you find the greatness. And when you're able to focus on the small things in your life right now, then your heart opens and you experience something called gratitude. And gratitude is the doorway into peace. If you can truly be grateful for the isness of life in this moment, you discover that your heart is open and you are experiencing peace. You're not reaching for peace, you are directly experiencing peace in this moment because of gratitude.
It's true.
And gratitude doesn't come from being grateful for the big things in life. It comes from being grateful for the simplicity of life, on the small things
tiny
in life.
things.
Small things in life, the little things.
I'm grateful for the pillow underneath my head when I wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
or the light filtering into the room, or the person, or the animal, or the cat, or it's tiny little things. The smell of coffee or anything, the smell of rain. It's those little things that bring you back, because you can't be in duality and notice those little things. They bring you back. And beauty does too.
Beauty is the same.
Yeah.
To really, truly notice beauty, you have to be present. You can't see beauty in your head. You have to see it in the present moment. You can't see beauty in time. You see it in no time, which is presence, which is in the vertical plane of life.
And imagine if we could live completely immersed in this moment. I mean, the beauty that you would see in everything, in the person that you were looking at, whoever that person was, the cashier, your beloved, the dog, the cat, whoever it was. If you could really see them with eyes of presence and no judgment, you would see the beauty. You would see the beauty in their eyes, in their face, in their hair glinting in the sunlight. You would pick up all those things, which that's conscious awareness.
Yeah.
That's bliss.
What happens when you do that? What happens when you look at someone and you see the beauty in them? There's a portal there into love. And once again, love is in the vertical plane. So you're opening the doors to love when you observe the isness of this moment with an openness, with an acceptance, letting go of all judgment and all resistance, and just fully accepting and being grateful for the isness of this moment, your heart opens and love flows. And that love is felt by those that you're looking at, by the world around you. By, for example, let's just take it into the plant kingdom. If you have a pot plant or a flower in the garden, and you really just observe it, you observe the small, for example, the small filaments in the center of the flower, and you just look at that with gratitude, with openness, with acceptance. The flower responds. We know that from experiments that have been done many, many times on plants, connecting them to the polygraph machine. They respond very positively when we are in a state of presence with the plant, because love flows. Love enlivens the world around us, and we are in love when we notice beauty. When we notice the beauty in life around us, our heart opens, love flows, and this world, the new earth, is being birthed through us in that moment. We become a conscious creator of the new world.
I saw such a beautiful short little reel the other day of Zach Bush. Many of you may have heard of Zach Bush. And he was talking to a chap, and he went into a state of presence. And as he was talking, I think it will be on his Instagram, Zach Bush's Instagram. And as he was, it was only the other day, as he was speaking, he was saying, and in this moment, I'm seeing the light in your eyes, and the little silver flecks in your hair, and your skin in the sunshine. I mean, I can't do it justice the way he was. And this chap just sat and listened, but there was absolute love pouring out of his eyes. And then he said, but we go away from this. Because the mind will actually take us away from it. But that's how I was that brought me to imagine if you could just look at somebody with those eyes. There would be no war.
And we can.
There would be no war. There would be no conflict.
No. And the truth is, we can do that right here, right now, in this moment. Bring ourselves back to this moment. You know, we've been taught for hundreds of years, you know, not to truly connect with the world around us, not to truly connect with the other. And I believe one of the reasons is that it's extremely difficult to be dishonest. It's very difficult, I mean, let's take an extreme here, to kill someone when you're really noticing that person in the magnificence of who they are in this moment. You can't destroy life when you are in admiration of this moment. And there are powers that be that have created a scenario, a play for human experience so that we could have this contrast. But now is the time to step out of that and step back into our true essence of being. And to leave that old world of false evidence appearing real and come back home. And from that feeling within us, we create the new earth. We create the new experiences that we are experiencing moment to moment to moment. First of all, we feel the feeling, and then the physical world responds to mirror that inner feeling that we're feeling. The wars that we experience on the physical plane, the dishonesty among politicians and among global leaders, that's a reflection of our lack of presence, of our lack of alignment with love. There's no victims in this world, no victims at all. We're all reaping what we sow. So in this moment, and it's a new moon, isn't it? It's a good time to sow.
It is.
Let's sow the seeds of the new earth, of the world that we want to experience for ourselves, for our children, for our grandchildren. Let's sow the seeds of what we've been speaking about tonight, of peace, of beauty, of gratitude, of love. Let us now use our conscious attention and feed that world.
And I mean, we were talking in the car today to Nicolette, and she was saying, you know, before we go to bed at night, before we go to sleep, that in those last few minutes before we fall asleep, to give thanks for the day, to sort of just do a quick little scan through the day, and if there was something in your day that didn't go so well, or you responded in a different way, or reacted in a different way that you didn't want to not judge it, to say, okay, I acknowledge, I see it, and tomorrow when I wake up it'll be different. And then in the morning, to actually set the trajectory of your day. You know, may this be a day where I can be gentle and kind, and may this be a day where I can see the beauty and keep coming back to who I really am, to that love. And I just feel that it's an ongoing moment by moment process that we're all in. It doesn't necessarily happen in one foul swoop for most of us.
No.
Most of us don't become enlightened in an instant. We become more and more, we come home to ourselves more and more, the more we come home to ourselves. So each time we come home to ourselves, we get familiar with the place of being home to ourselves, and less familiar with that, so that then becomes a place that we don't really want to hang out in, because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good in your body, it doesn't feel good in your relationships. So then there's a choice. And we have to make that choice. Nobody else can teach us, or we can guide, but no one else can do it.
Yeah, that's so true. And as we start to experience the benefits of living in presence, of living in peace, we will then value it higher. And as we value it higher, we pay it more attention and more attention and more attention, until it doesn't just occupy 5% of our day, it occupies 95% of our day.
Yeah.
And that is the shift, and it ripples out from us to the world that we meet. We meet a stranger in the street, we treat him as the most beautiful being in the world in that moment, or her, and in that moment there's a shift in energy, and that ripples out into their life, and they will interact in a far more positive way with the world that they meet after your interaction with them. And so it goes out into the world.
And it's a choice, and it's a decision, isn't it? It's a decision to, am I going to go into this situation or into this day grumpy and irritated and resistant to what's going on, or am I just going to go into it with an open heart and be as open and loving as I can be? It's a decision. And we sometimes get caught up in the old patterns of resistance that we don't even know that we're in. And this is the paradigm shift. This is the transformation, that we're actually seeing it so that we can shift it. So it's not to beat yourself up about it. That if you went into a pattern, I went into the story. Okay, I went into the story. That's fine, I can come back. And each time you come back, you're coming back to yourself more and more. So this becomes the place. This becomes the default. And the other starts to actually get less important.
Yeah, and we start to recognize that those mind patterns, as you say, those subconscious programs that are running and drawing us away from the beauty of this moment, are all based in time. And it's really a choice of choosing time or choosing presence. As we honor presence, so we will give it more attention, and we will automatically live from a default place of peace, of love, of stillness, of gratitude. That becomes the norm. And one of the things that rob people of peace is their life situation. And most people confuse the life situation to life. People will even say, my life is a mess. And that isn't true. First of all, there is no my life. You don't have a life. Life has you. Life is the eternal essence of presence, and it lives through us. But the confusion is the situations that you find yourself with is not life. Life is always only in the vertical plane, where your situation is very much dependent upon the horizontal plane of time, of past and future. And as you sort of start to see the difference, hang on a minute, I have always thought that my life was a mess. But hang on a minute, life isn't a mess, because life is here in this present moment. And in that realization there's an opening, a crack in the matrix. And you see through that crack, and you see the depth of life in that moment, and the beauty of life in that moment. And you honor the small things, and your heart opens, and you see the beauty in this moment. And that is the difference between the story of life and life itself. between your situations of circumstances, situations, events and people that are surrounding you and life itself. And as you start to honor life, which is the vertical plane, everything changes. Everything changes. As you start to honor life with your attention, with your gratitude and with your love, everything changes in the external world as much as it changes in the internal world. But the important thing is not the external world, it's the internal world. Just to say again, we're not doing this to change the external world. We're doing it to live a beautiful, peaceful life here, inside ourselves, because that's the most important thing. But paradoxically, as we start to live in heaven, so the world around us reflects that back to us. That's the importance of that. Yeah.
I mean, I've even heard people say, but I can't be peaceful now. My life is in such a mess, and the present moment is terrible.
Yeah.
But they're not seeing the present moment for what the present moment is. They're seeing their present situation.
They're seeing the situation
as the present.
Correct. The present, your situation, circumstances, things are not the present moment. The present moment is a space which holds all of that. It's the inner space. In fact, that is incorrect. It's the inner, the outer, it's the all that is, which is holding, we access it through the inner space, but it's holding all the situations, circumstances. It's not the thingness that's occupying that. It's the space. And as we start to honor that, everything changes. We start to honor instead of only honoring the objects of our life, we start to honor the space of awareness, of conscious attention that holds it all. And then the heart opens. And I believe that all the problems that we have in our external world of situations, circumstances, relationships, arise from one thing: the closing of the heart. We have shut the tap to love, to life. And the answer for that is to open fully to life in this moment, and to allow life to flow unimpeded through us, to allow love to flow through us in this moment, here and now.
Yeah, just
and
this
then
moment.
And then you look through eyes, you realize, that is to see with real eyes, the beauty and the perfection of this moment, irrespective of what the mind is judging it, irrespective of how the mind is judging it. You start to see through that, to see the isness of this moment. And in that, there is a huge transformation of human consciousness.
And it's just another tool as well, as to just at any one moment to just ask yourself, am I closing or am I opening? That's all.
Yeah.
And you can feel it in your body. You can feel it. If you're closing, you'll feel that you're closing, you're shutting down.
Yeah.
And you're resisting. So you're shutting down or you're pushing away. So that's closing. And opening is, this is happening. Okay. I'm accepting that this is happening, and I'm making the things that I have to do about it, but I'm not resisting that it's happening. I'm just accepting that this is happening. There's an opening to it. You can even do that with pain. You can open to pain.
Yeah.
And if you open to physical pain, very often the physical pain actually dissolves a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you're resisting the pain, it persists. So what you resist persists. Whether it's pain or conflict or anything.
Yeah.
Unhappiness.
Yeah.
I'm resisting being unhappy. There's going to be more unhappiness.
Yeah.
We talked quite a long time there. We don't have a clock here, so we just talked.
We didn't have a clock here. Yeah. Thank you all. And just a reminder, we have a free week running at the moment, a free course, a 7-day course for our Journey to Freedom. And we offer an introductory week, which is free, and you still can join and catch up a little bit. We meet up on Zoom on Thursday night.
Yeah, there's
for
plenty
that.
of time.
So there is still time to, if you want to join, you go to journeysofawakening.com and you can join up for the free week if you still wish to do that.
Yeah, I see Lauren there. She's on our Vision Week.
Yes.
Welcome, Lauren.
Yeah. And I'm glad you found the steering wheel exercise helpful.
Yeah, it's very helpful.
Thank you. Yeah. And then we also have an online support community. It's called Inner Space. Inner Space. And I came across something, I was going through some old books, and I came across a magazine called Inner Space. And it was a 2000 issue.
Well, we didn't know that when we came
24 years ago.
Yeah.
And I wrote a little short essay on inner space.
Yeah.
Amazing. So the name of our online community support program is Inner Space, and the details to join that are also on journeysofAwakening.com.
Thanks,
so
everybody.
shall we choose a affirmation for the week ahead, and then you can read this out. Yeah. So we have all these affirmation cards here. And affirmations are very powerful tools for shifting those repetitive thinking processes. If you flood your mind with a positive affirmation and use it over and over and over again, when situations, circumstances, events or relationships get difficult, and you normally slip into those old unconscious patterns, if you have a very strong affirmation that you're saying over and over again, your mind can then go into that positive frame, that reframe the situation in terms of that positive affirmation. So that's the power of affirmation. Every week, as you know, those of you who are regulars, we choose from this pack and we pull out one affirmation for the week ahead. And those affirmations are not there to be said once or twice. They're completely useless if you only say once or twice. They're there to be said 200 to 300 times a day. Louise Hay said that. So that's the way that we shift the mind, is by repeating positive affirmations over and over again till they become our default thought. You can choose a card. Okay. Let's see what colour you're going to choose. You're going to choose a green. You're choosing heart. That's lovely. Yeah. That'll definitely take us into peace.
Good. I'm going to lean forward a bit because my voice tends to go a bit soft.
Yeah.
Alright, so just settle in and I'll take us on a short little out meditation. Squeeze into this vertical plane.
Through the narrow
portal. Alright, let's just take a deep breath in. And then a releasing breath out. Take another full deep breath in, so expanding the belly on the in-breath and bringing the air all the way up through your diaphragm, up into your lungs. Hold it for a moment and then release it. Maybe try releasing it through the mouth, blowing it out as if you're blowing into a straw. And now a third deep breath in. And then a release breath out. And feel your body start to melt and release as you breathe out. Connecting with the sounds again that you can hear. Connecting with what you can see behind your eyes. If your eyes are closed, we can open them slightly. Connecting with what you can smell and taste. And what you can feel in this moment. The temperature of the air on your skin, the seat beneath you, feeling of your clothes on your body. See if you can feel the energy in your right hand. So just put all your focus and all your attention onto your right hand. You might find that you pick up a pulse or a tingle or a warmth. And just acknowledge this is the energy that is flowing through you all the time. And then focus your energy on your left hand. Feel as if you're holding a ball of energy between those two hands. And this ball of energy is radiating out through your whole body. And as you start to relax even more, Imagine that you are dropping from your attention, your focus, from your head. Your focus is going down, 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 and very gently dropping into the space of the heart. See if you can, as you drop into the space of the heart, soften and open your heart. You might want to imagine a beautiful flower that is blooming continually. Just new petals coming out, blooming and blooming, like 1,000-petaled lotus, sitting in your heart. Open. Allow your body to be receptive and open in this moment, to this moment, to whatever is in this moment. Feel the relief and the release when you let go of reaching or resisting. Just this present moment. This precious present moment. Sinking into it deeper and deeper. Coming home to yourself. And knowing that whatever is happening in the outside world, this peace is right here always. Just a couple of breaths away. And our affirmation card for the evening. And just listen to this and open your heart to receive the words. I am grateful for all the miracles in my life. Deep breath in and out, and I'm just going to repeat it again. I am grateful for all the miracles in my life. And now just become aware of your breath again. You might rub your hands together, your little fingers together. Take a deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes.
Thank you. And if that hasn't taken you to peace, I don't know what will. Wasn't that beautiful? Wasn't that lovely? And the cricket is really singing a great song here. And the cricket is present. So thank you for being with us tonight. We really value your presence, your love.
Thank you.
And your connection. Thank you. We look forward to catching up with you again next week.
Have a beautiful, peaceful week.
Lots of love.
Thank you. Love.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't forget to press the like and the share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.